Well, what do you know? It's time for another channel recap. We're roughly in the middle of March right now, so it's about time to go through February's videos and talk a bit about them. So let's pop up the folder. And the first one is Cyber Alvin, and we're going to cover that all the way up to Muse Alvin. So that's cool. Let's just get right into it. So this one I have a couple of gripes with. There are two combos in it that don't exactly go as planned, because I was trying to experiment at the time, and it just ended up failing, which was unfortunate, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. This first combo is fine enough. It's pretty much the same combo I did in the Hitboxes video, which it broke my heart seeing that happen, but it's pretty much the same combo right here, so you didn't really miss anything. Do a good job dodging here, I think. I'm just incredibly lucky he never used Phantom Surge, because that would have spelled the death of me. Variable trigger there looked kind of cool. I wanted to use that at the start of the combo to end up not having to use like Boilermaker or something at the end. And here is where I mess up. I used Guardian Field instead of Charged Blow. And then rather than use something like, oh, I don't know, Demon Wave or something, I used Guardian Grove, which was awkward. I could have made that work had I not messed up. And then the combo following that one, experimenting with Boilermaker and aerial stuff, which isn't Alvin's strongest suite. But this last combo does end up killing him, which is, it's fine. Not too happy with those messed up combos, but I think the overall quality of the video is fine. A Tiger Blade right to the dome to finish him off there. Let's see, Ivor Leia. I don't think this is the one that has... No, it's the Rowan one that has two versions. Some Senran Kagura music in this one that I ripped myself. Unnecessary detail, just felt like mentioning it. Playing around with Leia's ground game a bit more on this one. Having to use Darting Claw in order to string the arts together better, since Ivor would just break out for whatever reason. And I just now noticed that the power combo was reset. Or was it? Wait. No, it wasn't. Okay. Looked like it for a second there. So, and then I fall back into the old tried and tested combo that I used on Rowan, pretty much. This video isn't that spectacular. I still chalk this one up to me being too inexperienced at using Leia. I'm gonna have to practice her a lot for when I resume her solo. Messed up Crescent Flash there, which was interesting. Choosing not to deal with dodging around him, I just jump over him instead. And then Darting Claw pushes him too far, and I miss Shining Spiral, and it's just a bad time. This really is just the same thing over and over, I think. I'm not too happy with this video, I'm gonna admit. Probably when I start Leia's solo back up, once I'm done with Alvin, Jude, and Luger, I'm most likely gonna redo this fight, at least. Rowan I'm still kinda happy with since it's the first video. So I allowed myself to be a bit repetitive. That one messed up as well. God, now that the more I look at it, the more I'm like, why did I put this up? Yeah, then I missed Eagle Rage too. What was I thinking? I think this is the finisher though, yeah, Crescent Flash. So yeah, not really too happy with that video, sadly. And let's see. Ask probably. I'm actually gonna check. Yep. I got a bit unsure. I thought it was in January, that one. This one I'm pretty happy with. The Seer Divide Squall Shot I don't think ends up working. The Squall Shot ended before Seer Divide hit, but it's still a decent enough combo starter, I think. It would have been a lot nicer, of course, if the combo had worked out. Wait, maybe it did work, because I got the 630% there from Freezing Eruption. You know, I have no idea if that even worked. Nice little visual glitch there. One of the things I did in this video was I stunned Asuka and then got out of the way of the floor lasers, which most of the time was just dumb luck. The stun blitz one was intentional, but the crushing blow one was not planned. I used to use that to get back to the ground so I could get out of the way and start over the combo, but he ended up being stunned by that, so I could just do what I pleased, which was that was pretty cool. Now let's move on to Asuka. Alvin, which I'm a lot less fond of, because it's the same problem I have with the Ivor Leia one, in that it's too repetitive. It's pretty much the same combo over and over, which isn't terribly interesting. It's a good combo, sure, but watching it over and over, not a whole lot of fun. Messed up the combo there. When Asuka's done his little sweeping attack, I think he can't be staggered for a while, which is what happened there. I assumed Pulse Shot would break his Iron Stance, so I just used Boilermaker immediately afterwards. Using Tornado Drive twice there to float myself away from the floor laser. I noticed I floated away the first time I used it, so I used it again to get it even further away from it. Didn't want to take any risks with that one. I think I did a good job of dodging the laser, so I suppose the inclusion of Boilermaker in the combo in that sense is that it gets me out of the way, which was nice. And Boilermaker is very much a key part of the combo. And then I tried going for a Squall Shot, Pulse Shot thing here, which I did in a previous failed take. Didn't end up working because, you know, he wouldn't stagger. But had it worked, it would have been pretty cool. And then I messed up a combo there as well with Terror Rupture, I just noticed. Forgot about that part. And then I just keep hitting one Swift Pulse Shot, which was strange. Throwing a variable trigger there, I noticed. I'm not entirely sure why I did that, since I was going to do Boilermaker anyway. Maybe just felt like mixing it up a bit, not that it really helped. So this is also probably on my list of battles that I should definitely redo. Was not ready for Asuka to stagger there, so I didn't follow up on it, which was a bit unfortunate. Yeah, I'm probably going to redo this one sooner or later. And it's the very anticlimactic finish of Pulse Shot in the butt. One hit, and then it dies. You'll notice my TP is roughly down to halves, and since I've got Risk Ring equipped, my art's going to take 1 TP. So that gives you a general idea of how many arts I used in that fight. Kronos Luger. This one I'm not very happy with, which is why I redid it. And then I'm kind of not happy with the remade version, because people pointed out in the comments that the Chromatus isn't very interesting to watch, and I definitely agree, so I kind of wish I'd cut out that part now. You'll see an example of the Chromatus being incredibly dull in this video as well as in Musa Luger, which is coming up later. But the reason why I don't like this particular take isn't so much because of the Chromatus, it's because I think the combo is pretty boring. Doesn't really show a bunch of the cool stuff you can do with Luger. It's pretty safe, not really a whole lot of setups anywhere. Now I get him roughly down to half health, and then I just spam Chromatus for a while, which is... it's dull, it's not fun. Which is why I've cut out the Chromatus of all Luger videos. Or rather, which is why I'm going to do that. I already did that with the Julius one, which went up a couple of days ago, I think. And I intend to do that for every Luger fight that is coming up. Kronos Jude. I'm gonna increase the volume a bit. This one is... I like this one, mainly because of the first combo we're about to see here. There's one mistake in it that I will point out when we get to it. But it's this combo here that I'm kind of happy with. Or rather, very happy with. I wanted to use Sunspark since I'd seen Clip's Hard Knock Jude combo video. And he's got a very fancy Sunspark setup in that, and that made me want to experiment with it myself, and the result is what you just saw. I never really was one for Sunspark, Because back in Exilia 1, I didn't really value knockdown a whole lot. I thought it was just annoying because the AI did it all the time. It would interrupt my combos and stuff. But now I value it a lot more. And Sunspark is actually a pretty visually appealing art, so... That's right there what I was intending to do when I accidentally used Steel instead. I was going to use Sunspark, but ended up using Steel because the inputs I've got for him are pretty similar. So I just made a mistake and used the wrong one. Using Maxwell here as well because, for whatever reason, Chronos is a bit of a bugger when it comes to knockdown and OTG effects. Sometimes Phoenix Plunge will knock him down, which it's supposed to do. And then I'd use Frostbreaker immediately afterwards, which would pick him up and then knock him right back down, which would be incredibly strange. And sometimes I'd say, okay, maybe Frostbreaker just doesn't work on this one. So I used Aqua Sweep instead. So I'd knock him down, then I'd use Steel or any other art or move with an OTG effect, and he just wouldn't be picked back up. He'd just stay down, he'd refuse to even stagger and get back on his feet, which was incredibly annoying. So I decided to cut out knockdown as much as possible for this fight, which is why I went with Maxwell. Sticking it at the end of the combo means I also don't... What's the word I'm looking for? Waste combo, or power combo percentages there. Because the more elements you hit at once, the lower the percentage. Yeah, this is mostly fine in my eyes. I messed up there. I think I front steps twice. I think that's why that one failed. Let's take a look actually. Yeah, front step twice it looked like, or maybe just maybe Rising Sun just has that kind of animation. But I'm pretty certain front step Rising Sun just doesn't work anyway. Because most of the time when I try to use that, the enemy won't stagger long enough from the assault step, so that Rising Sun just won't connect in time, which is awkward. That probably would have been the finishing combo too if I'd actually managed to do that, but luckily he didn't have a whole lot of health left, so I could finish him off. Use the Fantasia weapons there. They're not the unlocked version, so they're not incredibly overpowered. I just found I needed a little bit of extra power to shorten the fight somewhat. It's already 3 minutes long, which is kind of lengthy. And now let's move into Musei Luger, which I talked about earlier. I actually really like this video, apart from the Chromatus stuff, which comes up soon. Or not soon, it comes up at the end of the second combo. And given Musei's emergency warp shenanigans, it's not a pretty sight. So what I did for this one is I went with largely aerial based combos, as you can see here. Jump cancel, keep her off the ground, so that you can't use emergency warp. Did I mention that you can't use that in the air? I forget if I did, but yeah, that's why I stuck to aerial based combos. It was probably pretty obvious anyway. If you fought Musei yourself, you will know that this boss is a pain. This is probably my least favorite boss in the entire game so far. Just because of how restrictive it is. And here, this is what I would have done differently. I would have front stepped before Requiem and after Arcfire. Because as it was there, Migrating Sparrows actually hit Musei while she was standing on the ground. And she could have used emergency warp and got out of there. But luckily she didn't, and the combo ended up working. And you can see before you right now that, yeah. The combo I had in mind didn't work, so I'm just going to spam Dark Projection Asher Edge, and I'm not really happy with that. Didn't really deal a whole lot of damage either. It's just a bad time, this fight. Just gonna try to use the Fusional Drive first. Second time. I couldn't stop it the first time because... oh, well, she was in over limit, so... But thankfully, 9,000 health I think she got from it. Isn't too big a deal for Luger. Because if she hadn't died from Freezing Eruption there, I could have just hit her with the Jump Cancel, Moonlight Assault or something like that, which would have killed her. Actually a pretty cool finish there as well, with the Freezing Eruption only sending out the ice after she's died, like boom, nothing's happening, and then as soon as she dies, all the ice appears. Kinda cool. Now let's go to Chronos Alvin. It's been a while. When I did this one, it had been a while since I had done an Alvin video, I think. I think the last one I did was Asuka, and that was like maybe a couple of weeks before this one, if memory serves. So this is where I really sort of showed my definitive Alvin style, if that makes any sense. Because Ivar had mostly been messing around, and Asuka was just maximum efficiency mode, just dodging around, doing a bunch of stuff. And this one really shows how I play Alvin. I'm pretty happy with it, except for one part which is coming up, but thankfully it didn't end up ruining the entire attempt. We'll talk about that when we get to it. It's kind of funny when Chronos steps back and just uses haste a bunch of times. Punishing Beam works very well on Chronos because he can't actually recover while in the air. So you can use Terra Fissure, Hellfire, Dark Flare, maybe not Dark Flare because that has a huge wind-up time, but if you use it with Squall Shout it works. And that enables you to just use arts like that. It wouldn't work against most bosses otherwise. And the part that I'm not happy with has already gone by. It's where Moonlight Cleft, or when Charge Blow didn't connect on the second hit, so he broke out of the combo, which was unfortunate. But luckily he used Trinity Bit and didn't hit me, so it's fine. Used another Smash Inferno. I took a gamble there. I wasn't sure if Smash Inferno was going to work. So I mentioned in the description of this video that in order for Smash Inferno to work, you either need to use Squall Shot and have him be in a corner so Squall Shot doesn't knock him away, or you need to just use Smash Inferno on its own and hope that he doesn't break out of the combo in the meantime. And I had no idea if Squall Shot was going to knock him away there, so I just took a gamble, and thankfully everything worked out perfectly. Kind of happy with that video. Actually very happy with that video. Riddell Luger. I think this is another one of my fancy... I'm just going to wreck you in one combo with a bunch of setups kind of video. Similar to what I did with Ivar. The thing I don't really like about this one is that the initial combo, like, that the combo's done here essentially. It only done like 13,000 damage, which isn't a whole lot. And the majority of the damage comes there. Like 71,000 damage just came from those arcane arts there. And then sadly I go with the Chromatus finish, which I resent nowadays. Like, I really do understand if people don't like watching the Chromatus because I don't like using it even. So definitely cutting that out. I think the setups and they work well on their own. I just would have done the ending differently. Am I gonna redo the video? Maybe one day. For now, I'm happy enough with it, I suppose. Wow, are we already at the last video already? Wow, that's cool. Is this one... It's March, I think. Yep. Let's get right into it. Oh, whoops. Musei Alvin. For whatever reason, Musei won't use Emergency Warp against Alvin. At least she won't do that, you know, as frequently as with other characters, I've noticed. And originally I thought that was because of Disorienting Strike, which extends enemy stagger time by a certain percentage, I forget how much. But I tried doing Musei without that skill and I got the same result, so I have no idea why that is. I'm certainly not complaining because it's a lifesaver that I could do whatever I pleased at this boss. And really, Musei's Emergency Warp is really the only reason I haven't done Leia or Mila's versions of this fight yet. It is incredibly annoying. There she does use it though, which was kind of strange. I'm wondering if that was because Demon Fang hit twice almost instantaneously. But then again, Pulse Shot does that as well. I just have no idea. Maybe Musa just has a thing for Alban. I mean, I understand her. I probably would as well. I think here I stood a bit too far away, so I missed the second hit of Charged Blow, and Muscle Roar ended up missing completely. It is called Muscle Roar, right? I think it is. But to be perfectly honest, if Charged Blow had hit both times, Muscle Roar would have ended the combo anyway, because the post-art recovery time is so high. Probably could have sent out a Pulse Shot and caught up to her after it, but I didn't really have time to find that out since, you know, it missed. But my general experience with Muscle Roar is that the post-art recovery time is just too high for it to really be valuable in, for it to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Viable in a combo that does not include Squall Shot or something like that. Because then you can fire off a Squall Shot, Charged Blow, Muscle Roar, and then while Squall Shot is still hitting them, you have time to go through the post-art recovery. When flying a bit there with Sunburst, because I didn't want to get burned, which is, you know, this is a no damage video, so kind of obvious really. I could have interrupted it now that I look at it, but just didn't end up doing that for whatever reason. Maybe I just wanted to fly for a while. I forget what my mindset was behind that one. And we've come to the end of the Xillia 2 videos, and I say Xillia 2 videos because I've got a Graces video as well. Let's see, it's in finished videos, I think. Yeah, it's this one, Hubert Solo 1, which I uploaded as a sort of call for help because I didn't really... I thought I was doomed basically because none of the bosses would be comboed, but I got some helpful advice from Mucktails in the in the comments that, you know, I should just try new things, see what works and what doesn't. So I'm definitely gonna do that. This video, this particular boss I like because of the cocky walk, you know, slow walk in, then using Beast Blaster. It's kind of cool. I'm not very knowledgeable about Graces, so I don't have a whole lot to say about this video. A fun fact about Queen Slime, I used both of those books that halve your stats, and she still ended up dying really quickly, so I wonder how quickly this fight would have been over if I hadn't used any of them. This is one of the fights in the video that I'm going to redo because I think this last part kind of kills the pace. Since I'm using Aspel here with the Hubert Impersonator, I think it is, title or costume, his Krios attack is pretty high, so using burst arts, like Hubert's spells and stuff like that, actually deals damage, or actually deals, you know, negotiable, kind of decent damage, which is why I used them. I always liked them, but I felt that Hubert's Krios attack's always been a bit too low to really make use of it. And I got really lucky there. As much as I want to say that that was intentional, that the I even forget what the art's called, but Aerial Barrage would trigger the Mystic Art. As much as I want to say that that was intentional, that was just dumb luck. But it's kind of cool. Cedric, I think I do a good job of. I don't think I get hit once because I do a good job of dodging around. I think when I'm done with this combo, I use Rolling Thunderbolt. Yeah, get out of the way. I use a lot of Hubert's burst arts in these first couple of videos for the Krios attack reason I mentioned earlier. I used Arrow Rain or Arrow Squall there only to finish off the fight. I didn't want it to cheapen the entire fight and basically make it too easy, which is my mindset for most bosses. I only really used Arrow Squall early against Malik because I think that fight is kind of cheap, so I wanted to get it over with. But Cedric I could get done without Arrow Squall, and I just used it to get the Mystic Art off. that's pretty much it. The Graces, or the Hubert solo rather, is pretty much on hold for the moment as I work things out. But I'm working on it. Don't really know when it's gonna resume. At the moment, I'm mostly focusing on Alvin and Jude and Luger as well. I'm aiming to get Alvin's solo done before the summer, probably, because once summer's over, I'm gonna go to school probably, or hopefully, and I'm gonna have a lot less free time to do these videos, so it'd really be a load off my mind to have at least one solo done when I get to that juncture. But I suppose I'll talk more about that when that actually starts becoming relevant. So for now, I will bid you all farewell until the middle of March, or sorry, until the middle of April. It's really sad that I had to think about what the next month is. But anyway, yeah. I can't really think of a way to end this video. I suppose I could end it real suddenly.